Let's do this again. Let's have some fun. Nichols College up against RIT Orange coming out of the Northeast. These two teams looking to fight for some supremacy, not only, of course, within their division, but going forward for the rest of the season. Conference championships may not necessarily be on the line for either of these two teams as it stands. Doesn't mean that Nichols College isn't a little bit closer. I believe RIT are mathematically knocked out of that. But before that, hi, I'm Corn. With me is Seymour as always. And we got ourselves a banger of a best of 5. We got one more match later on this evening as well. But Colin, let's go ahead and get down to business. Let's look at our head-to-head.
Yeah, let's take a look into this one. Both these two teams, you kind of set it up perfectly coming out of the top cut of the Northeast Atlantic. Both have a loss to that Farmingdale State team that we just saw on stream prior to this. Both have a win versus Brookdale Jersey Blues, which you just saw on stream prior to this one. So that might give you a little bit of an idea if you're watching our first series on where they kind of sit inside of the Northeast Atlantic. Because it is a difficult one when you're trying to look towards that conference championships, when you're trying to beat teams like Farmingdale State Rams or the Fisher Falcons, whether it's the white or the navy team. And even in their head-to-heads, it's a little bit of an edge, I would say, to RIT. But at the same time, they are sitting 5-4. This Bison's team 7-2 still should feel very, very confident. It's just RIT have a little bit more reps, I would say.
Yeah, and one thing I can say, just from personal experience, RIT has, well, they have been scrimming. They're not always able to get a full 4 for their actual main roster just due to schedule conflictions. So they do have times where they practice without their main 4 starting. So that does not help going forward, especially into some of these important matchups like against the Nichols College Bison tonight. Overall, though, I will say for RIT, they got some shooters on their team. I look to Bob and I look to Faded Crown as two players who I personally have had hard time shooting back against. I know that really doesn't mean much coming from me, but regardless, they still are great shooters. And more importantly, they are going to be, I believe, what's going to kind of put them over the edge going forward. The fourth that is also not able to practice with them all the time, also an extremely talented player. And that might even be an X factor for them tonight. So as we take a look at our map and modes here across this series, we'll go ahead and start ourselves out on a nice little hard point visit on Colossus. Raid, Search, and Destroy for map 2. Seems like we've been seeing a whole lot of that on the broadcast here for the CCL. And of course, Den Overload to round us out for our best of 3, start off our best of 5.
And I'm trying to kind of get an idea of like the postseason on what these teams are doing into their map vetoes. Obviously for Farmingdale State, they were playing a lot of those maps that they were losing to Fisher, and I like that they're trying to work on those and develop it into a match setting for both Nichols College and RIT Esports. Both of them have losses to these big teams on that Raid, Search, and Destroy, Colossus, Hardpoint. We see them go here quite a bit. You saw that, you know, even RIT have played this Colossus Hardpoint against the Farmingdale State Rams. They lost that 250 to 156. So still respectable against a team like that. I think that you're going into this one for RIT. You want to go to a map like this, like you said, knowing you have players like Bob who could just absolutely pop off in a map mode combo like that. But both of their reps, both of their wins on this one, it's going to be a fun way to break the ice between these two schools, Alex.
Yes, it absolutely will. We've got ourselves a fun one here on Colossus to start the drama. RIT looking to find their shells a little bit higher, and we will bring the calming sounds of this back down just a notch. Lobby broke, as is tradition here for the first map inside of a best of 5 series. So we'll go ahead and throw things over to the overall stats for these teams on maps and modes throughout the entire year. The first time we've been able to see this wonderful graphic because these two are apparently the only two teams that have played every map and mode.
No, and you know, I was saying that like we look at this RIT Orange team, and of course, you know, they have the worst technical record in this head-to-head, but just look at the series that they've kind of wound up here against Nichols College Bisons. They have more reps on the Colossus Hardpoint. They have more reps on the Raid, Search, and Destroy. You go to the Den Overload. Of course, they are 2-2 on that one as well. But again, it's just the reps on this one. I mean, they have the map set where they've been to the most in a lot of this. And although you have losses on these map mode combos, Alex, you're going into the postseason. I mean, you're just trying to kind of round up some of these maps that you're not as good at and see if you can steal it away and show that, you know, it was just a strength of schedule thing. You're still a force to be reckoned with here in the Northeast Atlantic, and I think for the Tigers, we know that they have what it takes.
They do. And the one thing that kind of sucks about, you know, just being located where you live regionally inside of the CCL is if you just get put in a division that is just stacked with great teams, you're looking down a barrel of a loaded gun. You're going into the regional playoffs going, all right, well, we're the 6th seed, but if we get to, you know, the round 3, we're playing the 2 seed. And it's just like, okay, that's fantastic. And then you look to the CCL playoffs and you're like, well, hang on a minute, we got to beat like 12 other teams here if we want to make the playoffs. And there's 8 teams in here that have kind of put it to our backside and gave us good spanking. It's like it's hard to play in a loaded division. The Southeast, Deep South is one of them that comes to mind immediately, is another one of those tough divisions. And that's not just because I'm playing in it, it's because that's a really loaded division.
And it's kind of because you're playing in it too.
And it's because I'm playing in it. And Mars Hill took me out back and shot me.
Oh, jeez. Shout out Lucho. Shout out Marcel. You know what? Shout out Full Sail Armada too, because
I'm kidding. Oh man. Well, guess what, Colin? I've just gotten word from Mr. John that we are still having lobby issues. So we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Colossus Map 1. We'll get into the action. We'll see if RIT can take down the Bison that's in front of them.
My name is Lucho. I've been in Mar Hills now for 2 years, and I'm in the MBA program, Business Administration. So I was a little kid, and I got my PS3. My father started playing all these campaign games. That's when I first got contact, but when I first started playing was when I got the PS4 and I got BO3. Getting really cracked in the pub games, getting Dark Matter, grinding zombies. That's about it. When I started playing World War II, I was pretty much a rookie, right? I wasn't really in the scene. I was just playing with the homies. The thing is, in World War II, I'm pretty sure just Brazil, right? Not Latin. Brazil had some CWL spot for everything. So like Brazil was taking it very seriously. You all started growing, and then at some point in 19, all the league was South America. It was every South American country, but mainly was Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and then started all growing until Vanguard that hit the Latin Challengers. I would say they found us. Our team was very dominant in the Vanguard year, and Max Wood, that probably everyone will know, he contacted me about telling me about all these, what College Code was, basically.
Let's have at it. Colossus Map 1, RIT, breaking from the P4 side over by P2. You got Nichols State looking to push their way forward. Faded Crown going to be the first one up over towards Stone, but will find himself on a demise. The little crafty 3-piece to start off inside of this nice P1. 40 seconds left, plenty of time here, and the map spread, at least for the side of Nichols College, is fantastic.
Just as a little bit of a reminder for those at home who might get a little bit confused following the minimap, following the kill feed, green is RIT, white is going to be Nichols College Bison. We get the sides wrong going into this one. So you look at who's in control of the hill right now, and it's going to be RIT soaking up this hill time reflected on the scoreboard at the top of your screen. So Bison's giving one more try. It's going to be 3 dead for RIT, pushing forward for this P2.
Bob to the back end. Oh, that's an unfortunate spawn directly in front of him. Wins the gunfight against Sundown, though. Opportunity right-hand side. Wisely wraps back down the staircase into P2 to wait for the reinforcements, rotating through the Stone side. It's an over-aggression from middle map, and P1, Faded Crown finds Pyros. Now on the back line, it's all for the spawns. The attack is good. The break is in. Great stuff there from RIT as they go ahead and flip the map out.
And it's a good start for the Tigers. Even with Tub going 0-3, he's still got himself in that hill. Bob off to a 6 spree. A little bit of statue control for the Tigers, up and over. Faded Crown the damage, and he does tee up his teammates for a little bit of success there, but well, meanwhile, it's a shot here for Bisons to try and break.
On the back end, though, you have to look for drafties. He's found a 2-piece. Still 25 seconds here, so this is plenty of time to grab him. This is actually great time, being down about 40 early on here on Colossus. You, of course, know how quickly this map can flip around, though, and you can really string a few of these hard points together, but you have to look out on rotation. Top side of their map, player number 3 out and ready. It's going to be Tub on the rotation, one of the main ARs of this roster looking to get mixy.
Yeah, so Bisons might be down a little bit here, but you go to a big hill where you can really steal away a lot of time, just keep it contested if you're locking down one side of this P3. And Top's gonna get active here. Nice shots coming through. Can't find a second one, so it is gonna leave this hill open, which for Nichols, not really a bad thing right now. You're just trying to keep the Tigers out of it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that the entire push directly at the front of the hill from Nichols College just stalled out. They had 2 players there. It was players from RIT coming off of spawn, and nobody wanted to challenge anything. Maybe it was because they were weak or they were waiting for reinforcements, but that allowed a flank to come back around from RIT. That allows them to get set up not only back by yellow, but inside of P3, grab a significant chunk of time, and they're going to go ahead and hold back 30 here. Gets the spawns flip out for the moment, but with the way they've been breaking, it won't matter for long because it's a double back on the point.
Yeah, and you still haven't even been able to break those back spawns with 20 seconds left of this hill. You're trying to fight through old and get to the new hill, which Drafty attempts to do. He's going to be shut out by Bob. RIT, not only with a commanding lead, but they're doing a really good job at keeping the fundamentals sound on this map mode combo, and really need to see something big from Nichols if they want to break these back spawns.
Yeah, and if you want to run through the back, just sprinting directly forward and not looking for the yellow exit cutoff is not exactly how you want to do that. Tub will hold the AR, doesn't realize one more is in the back line, but they will surely turn around. They absolutely will. Pyros will fall. Now it's back to the action on the front side. Sundown, pistol out, right side challenge, and the short's not going to find anything. It's ready. We'll go ahead and clean everything up, and that's going to be another respawn here for RIT as it's another clean 4 down.
Yeah, lots of time here. And where we've seen the Tigers send people to P1, this time around it's just all bunkered down onto this hill, see if they can work these kills, and then move for the map control. And Reddy just bouncing side to side. He's doing a great dance here, just keeping this one contested, staying himself alive in the hill. He's got Tub and Bob to watch over him, and when he's needed, he's got his 5th in a row, and you can already see RIT pushing for mid-map control.
And that's exactly what happens. You peek around the right side, don't see anybody there. You can just fully collapse back on the point, and this is just the best timing in the world for Reddy. They're not going to be able to spot him. Jumps up, is able to find one. Second gunfight, can't win it, was shot in the back as well. So finally, Nichols College have just enough breathing room. Let's see what RIT do on the push here out towards Statue.
Well, this is good time as ever with RIT looking to break this hill. Let's go in and listen in with the Tigers.
2 in Statue, 2 in Statue.
I'm hitting blue crate.
Statue down, statue down.
No trophy time.
I'm behind you, Jordan.
Needing hill. I heard you, needing hill. Need on hill, needed sun hill.
I'm going up that side.
Needing hill. One more in the back blue.
Hey, weak, free kill, Pyros.
Kill that. One more statue on time. He's on Belk.
Heard you need this shit,
No
trophy shell.
shot.
Hop in this shit. Need stun. Their side.
One shot.
And weak their side. Take routes, go now.
I'm going to P3.
Back blue right now.
I'll play through old.
We're all left.
Yeah, you guys all go left. I'll play old.
Holding
Trophy
back
on
blue.
old.
Back blue here.
Back B.
Or just wait.
Two old.
Wait.
Blue dead. One statue.
dead. I'm
One's gonna be statue, okay?
I'm blue.
Jump up on me. Jump to P1, guys.
He's, in
Blue
blue.
stairs, okay? Sun down blue stairs. Nice
Blue
one.
dead.
I'm missing blue,
Sundown.
blue.
In the back.
Sundown dead.
What's your last two gonna be front or right?
Front dead.
Missing one.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, all things considered, great hold on P1 there. It doesn't really kind of consummate over to P2, but I mean, good is good if you're Nichols College right now after what happened in that first set of rotations, but we have to give all the credit is due to It's Ready, who held down the backline spawns, didn't over-aggress, won 2 big gunfights, and got everybody from RIT to spawn in the back.
And you mentioned it was a good hold in P1. I think for the Bisons, they're even doing a good job of fighting this one from the front. Pyros picks up the flank. You still have your contest in, trying to keep at least some time away from RIT. Maybe steal away the scraps. You're just slowly chipping away at this lead. My biggest issue will be to see if Nichols College, going into this second set of rotations, can do a better job at holding down these yellow side spawns for the P4.
It was Tub out on P3 last time. This time It's Ready. Will be the first one here. Pushed all the way back over by yellow. Spawn red out from RIT. Now he's going to read the double wrap here. Bakani's going to back off. Look around. Got shaky for a moment, but the gunfight is won by Ready. Now we hop back on board with Faded Crown as he rips the first one off the heady. It's been a rough go of things. The team's looking good so far. About a 60-point difference.
Yeah, 150 to 98. Nichols just haven't been able to get a look at this P3, and it really goes down to a lot of the confidence coming down on these power positions. Drafty's going to get shut down on the flank. Players do flood the front of this hill, so this is good 30 seconds, Alex. If they can steal away this time, that's going to put this in about a 20-point game, so you really need to see if RIT are going to send some players to it, and you do. You get a quick flank from Bob. Nobody's going to be watching it, and RIT just continuing to dominate this map control.
And now you have utility in the back pocket if you're Bob. You've got the Hellstorm on 6 straight. It's Ready. Still just able to play his life here so well. Throws a nader on the left side. Knows that he's going to have a challenge coming from the right. Great shots on a wall bang from Tub. And now you can fully hold this from the back end. But I just look to Bob here as he rotates back around towards the rest of the team. You're looking through the statue push at the moment. Can you hold the front line just a little bit longer? Condi will find it. So now it's a break to the front and an opportunity finally for the Nichols College.
Nice entry. Condi with some help too. Nade into the back from Drafty's going to connect onto Tub. So Bisons are in. Still with those back spawns. RIT are going to look to fight their way back through this one. 3 kills for the Tigers. It's all 4 down. Drafty on that statue spawn, but RIT just still in full control. Nichols not being able to break these spawns, Alex, it is the worst thing that they're dealing with.
It really is, and that might have felt really like the dagger there on the back end of P4. I know it's still only about a 70-point game as we look forward to top P1, but I mean, with the back 15 still going RIT's way, they're going to break that 200-point mark, and Nichols College just haven't been able to find a rhythm. They can't string two hills together. Unless they're able to do it on P1 and P2 here, it might be GG.
Last time around, I mean, P1, he got about 30 seconds off this hill. Down by full 90 points. It is going to be hard to bring yourself back into this game, but you're still in there. Faded Crown on the flank through green. He gets himself a double kill. Up and over. Can he find all three? No. Pyro's trying to stay alive. Reddy's there for the trade, and RIT looking to close it on this hill.
Just a break within 15 seconds of the hard point. Nothing you could do there. No pressure on the outside by Statue, and that just allows Faded Crown to continuously piece through. How about one more? Hipfire shots are going to back the player down the staircase. Pyro is backed off with a stun too, and why not give Gray Faded Crown the third straight kill as they go ahead, toss another Semtex to the door. 20 points here for the win for RIT.
20 points still on the clock too, so Bison's got to throw themselves at the hill, and with that contest, you can start to see the arrows of RIT working their way through P2. A stick into Drafty that takes you out of that spawn or on that hill for scrap. So extra time for RIT to try to close this game. And you get the spawns at noon, so it is literally the last stand for the Bisons in map 1.
Down 100 points. They're going to need 120 to close this game out. Let's see if they have any sort of life left in them. Tub gets a read on Sundown. Somehow a player spawns directly in square next to him. So Pyros will clear that out. They're going to get the spawns in the back, but the Hellstorm used over the top from Bob. He'll find Sundown inside of the hard point. RIT will spawn directly inside of Blue while there's still one in the back. They'll hop time for a moment. Just 10 seconds for the win.
Still fighting. Tooth and nail. Spawns in the back for the Tigers, and on top of everything is going to be Condi in the hill winning his battles. 9 seconds left. Sundown in for the contest.
Faded Crown around the right side, though. Needs to hold this on while the reinforcements are pushing forward. Drafty finds one. Still trades immediate, but with 4 seconds left, there's nobody even close. Over by Statue. Pyros will say goodnight to map 1. 250, 154. RIT coming out hot.
Hot indeed. A team that, albeit you look at their record in the Northeast Atlantic, you don't expect them to put a fight against a squad that is 7-2 on this season, but you get your Colossus, your subs get hot, and the fundies are on point for a map that only has, what, like 4 or 5 spawns to really read. So looking at the game flow from that, RIT, they came out strong in the Colossus all the way up to 121 to 35. You saw a little bit of a pullback from the Bisons with that P2, or that P1 in our second set of rotations. They get a good chunk of time there. You think that maybe Nichols College have kind of figured it out on this map mode combo, but it really comes down to those big hills, those P3, P4s for RIT, just locking down those better spawns towards yellow. Nichols could just never get themselves around these setups, and the Tigers just always find themselves in the better positions for these big hills, getting the big time, and running away at the end.
I mean, hell, even down to the listening. I mean, you just heard off the rotation from P1 over to P2, they were fine giving the 20 seconds away. They just said take routes. Everybody started playing towards the spawn side. You had Reddy playing in the back line, just waiting for the rest of the team to come across the map. He didn't make himself or his presence known until the team was ready and in position, and that's when the bang comes through the front. You get a couple of kills at the very front of P2 in the back. If you're still alive and you haven't given away your position, the other team might know you're there just by where they're spawning. But the thing is you still are the one that can aggress that gunfight afterwards. And once everybody else is turned around to the diversion at the front of the hill, you're in the back ready for the pinch. So it's just stuff that RIT are really, really good at on Colossus. This was one of the maps that we struggled really against this RIT roster when we scrimmed them a while ago. They have consistently been good on Colossus. And I'm glad it's showing through inside of match play, because this is a really strong team. I don't think the 5-4 record does this team that much justice.
No, it really doesn't. 31-24, 23 non-traded from Bob, all with a minute 33 in the hill. Nearly 4K damage. Bob was unreal to open up this series. And albeit, I mean, you look at this squad of RIT and you see, you know, Tub, he is the filler guy. I mean, even Tub at moments was rotating. He was holding down those spawns. He was doing exactly what he needed to do to allow somebody like Bob, like Faded Crowd, to make those plays, always find those double kills. Really fundamental out of the Tigers for that. For the Bisons, you know, I want to give some love to them too, because Condi, 33-27, 19 non-traded, nearly 4K damage. He was right there as well. It's just, who's going to be that player if we do get to the map 4 to start looking to the rotations, winning those spawns, and putting a lot of focus on making sure that RIT cannot dominate the initial time on these hills where they're walking away with a lot of hill time that Nichols just never find themselves in.
I will say one thing. Pyros was always there for the gunfight. It felt like every time I was looking to an important rotation kill for Tub or for Bob or for Reddy or for Faded on RIT, it was always Pyros on the other end of the gunfight. And sometimes that's just how it goes. It's an unfortunate game. You just don't feel like you can shoot back. And I mean, at 19 and 29, yeah, of course, that's what we see from that. But realistically speaking, sometimes it's not how you're playing the map. It just comes down to the gunfights that you're losing.
Yeah.
And maybe it's Pyro's just getting a little antsy in the spawn. Maybe just sit back a little bit longer, wait for them to come to you instead of just having to watch all the different directions. I think that also comes down to Nichols as a team not really playing all that well together on those rotations over, because I think that Pyro's on the rotation out in the backside of spawn just didn't know where that next hit was coming from. So when the comms aren't there for the team and you're not really able to give that good information on what side is weakened and where that RIT push is going to come from, you're going to struggle if you're the one taking routes off the spawn. So I think Pyros is going to have a good S&D. I think this is a very easy turnaround. It just comes down to winning the gunfights. And I think Nichols College have a little bit of warm up after Colossus.
Yeah.
They showed a little bit of schmunk at the end there, so I'm excited to see what they bring to Raid.
Yeah, I mean, Colossus Hardpoint, if you're Nichols College, you never expected that one to be a map that you were going to walk away with against this Tigers squad. You lost that map mode combo against Brookdale Jersey Blues. Fortunately enough, though, you look forward to this Raid Search and Destroy, and this is a map that you beat against that Brookdale team that looked really, really strong just last series on this map mode combo, especially considering that the Jersey Blues took both of the Fisher squads to around 11 on Raid Search and Destroy. You go into this one, it was a 6-3 win on this map. You even took Farmingdale State to around 11 on this map as well. You're going to be feeling good on the bounce back here if you're the Bisons. And I think again, like we saw in that first series, Alex, it's just, I look at Nichols to be a little bit fundamental off these breakoffs, especially with Raid being a lot faster in Black Ops 7. We need those set nades to land. If you're going to be contesting towards P5, you have to make sure that you have those lineups towards Kitchen, towards Zig, just anything to allow your subs to get into somewhat of a contention there against RIT, because you know that Bob's going to be looking for those routes. He's not going to let go of that sprint. He is a player that is super fast. He just displayed it in Colossus. You need to make sure you're shutting him down here on Raid.
I feel like the big difference for RIT on a map like Colossus and Raid Search and Destroy really just comes down to where you are going to be able to excel and take the gunfights in the most advantageous way. I think what we saw from the Colossus in map 1 there, I think, you know, the subs were able to get aggressed very early on. They were winning very crucial gunfights. And I mean, again, Pyros was at the opposite end of a lot of those gunfights that were being taken by the SMGs. And I think once you kind of allow them to get a flow, you kind of mentioned it beforehand, once you get into that state where you're just in step with your other player, your SMG duo, that you're just kind of flying around the map with each other, you're not really in a spot where you're going to get disrupted by that unless one of you just goes like a 6 or 7 death streak and then it's all out the window and it's GG, right? So we'll hop into the Search and Destroy here conversation that we'll get on for another time. Drafty will look up to the top side of Mansion. Would have liked a few more wallbang shots there to try and see if Tub would get weak, but not sure if that's a sniper out or not. Looks like the shoulders are just being thrown.
Wallbangs. Woo. Thought for a second Tub would be dead to rights. This is a lot of focus in on B. Smokes down. Tub still going to get connected with through those wallbangs. Drafty finally pulls that first blood. You look at mid-map, Bob trying to make a play through P5, but he's going to be red. Oh, this is impeccable from the Bisons.
2v3. You have the bomb. Wrap around right side spawn. 2 are going to be sitting inside a top mansion. If you're Faded Crowd, you're not going to read this out any day of the week. You've got Drafty back for help, but it's immediate trade from the lower side of mansion, and that is why you double up in the spawn. They had them wrapped out completely. Only place they might have been able to scrap through would have been through middle, but even then it would have been spotted surely about player out ringside.
It's a bold call, I think, you know, from RIT to try to make that B play, especially if you're not going for that quick plan. No trophies in round 1. You get that smoke down. You try to go for that quick plant, but you're just completely read by Nichols. And with that early damage from Drafty onto Tub, you have nobody top window to kind of watch over you to make that play towards the water steps. And, you know, as soon as Drafty gets that kill, it takes the pressure away and you catch the flanker too with Bob going down. Nichols just completely come out so strong, and Condi confident as ever.
Fly straight up into kitchen, but it's a trade out by Reddy. Double up on the stairs from Pool. Ani will hop out to the B side. Actually, I love this play. It's a good wrap back all the way through. They knew he was out kitchen. Doesn't see anything on the B side. So this gives free information to the defensive team. But now it's unfortunately the opposite side where it's going to be a push through. Faded Crown on the backside just gets read out and caught. 1v3 here. Smoke is good. Shots in through. It's college. Double up and round them.
You can see how this team, stole away that raid search and destroy against Brookdale. It's not easy to play against a team in raid that plays with pace like this. Confidence and just knowledge that you can make these plays without getting contested, especially on the attacking side. When you get that play through mid, if you're Condi, you get the timing to P5, you win that fight towards kitchen, and that draws so many players from RIT away. You can see that this is a team that's done their homework on raid search and destroy, and the Tigers need to start slowing this down to make sure that they don't give up too much too early.
This is what I wanted to see right here. Aggressive plays through middle. Offense gets to mid first and is able to get inside of P5, but you have to be wary of the players out from kitchen. What a cook nade in. Unfortunately, traded out by the stun, so Tactical's doing the work of the round here for Nichols College so far. However, Faded Crown will back all the way off inside a library. Double trade one on the opposite side. 3 versus 2. 30 seconds gone on the round.
It's the first time we see the Bisons at a deficit. How do these players work through it? You're into Art, the defensive side. You flip the map. Bomb going over towards B, and this is a great position for the Tigers to be in if they can get this bomb planted and a Faded Crown getting it away. But Pyros makes it a 2 versus 2 for the retake. But a retake nonetheless.
Surprised he was able to get that down. It must have been just a hairline fracture of what he was looking for. Tub turns around and just gets the worst timing out of kitchen. And you leave Bob all by his lonesome. Hero inside of map 1. Can he do it again? Good shots to the money window. How about you rip the dome piece off the second? That's a round that you just should not win. I don't know what we're doing. Double challenge and stacking up on the window there. But, hey, if you're RIT, you'll take that any day of the week.
Any day, every day. All right, Bob, that's a moment that you just kind of expect from him. Especially if you're going to line up like that. M15 in your hand, he is going to rip you. I like the play from the Bisons. You catch the bomb carrier. Good timing there. You immediately double play into money. You just have no information where that last guy is. You have an idea he's on the kind of the defensive side because of where it's planted. It's just where is Bob? You line up for him, and it's really unfortunate. Nichols nearly stealing away a 3rd round, but with the Tigers, that is important to at least stop this momentum.
Drafty doesn't spot anything out through middle. Finally, Pyros is on the good side of a gunfight. Finds ready. Faded Crown there for a trade, and that's just something you can't let happen if you're Nichols College. You cannot have the sub aggressing and not be there to get a secondary trade on it or at least get damage on the player that traded it out. It's 2 versus 2, though, as the gunfight happens over by ring. Both teams now basically just flipping the map offense and defense at the moment. Bomb is pushed all the way up into Laundry. Faden's going to throw some nice shoulders. It's going to be a wrap all the way back through Jungle from Drafty and Sundown. Question is RIT going to get the read on this or not?
You got to think that you play for the 50-50, even if it is going to be a B plant. But in due time, you're going to recognize that it is not a play over towards A, and we're going to have to see RIT on their retake to see if they can find their way through this poolside setup. It is going to be planted for basketball. Drafty sticking himself in Tiki.
It's just going to waste so much time. You doubled up inside a library, and now you have to take this fight from the front side of Mansion. This is the gunfight that they lost in round 1, so it's not something that you're going to be exuberating confidence in going back into it. Deep challenge out by Rock inside of Tiki. Drafty will show himself, and now it's just an SMG pushing by his lonesome. Hops over to the staircase. Should have the read on it inside of Tiki. Can you get up and aggress on one? First shot. We're good. Second one deep. Oh, another bullet. And you think you might have a chance at the second player hiding inside of the Tiki HUD. Nonetheless, though, Nichols College. 3 rounds to themselves, put another 2-round buffer in between them and RIT.
Now you gave that one a good look. You gotta imagine, I thought his screen would be a little bit more red from that play, but big shot down there from the Bisons. You get that good read over towards A, you get that Tiki set up, and it is very difficult to retake that when Bob isn't piecing up double kills like he did the round before, so RIT got to show something on the defensive side eventually. We're back onto the attack, though, for the Tigers, and looks like it's going to be a triple hit to A.
I love this. If the B stack doesn't work, why not gamble stack it over at A? Sundown has no idea they're in through Tiki, and we'll finally find them all. He said, yo, I got a dip, boys, they're on me. But he finds one for it regardless, so the repositioning works out well. It's another 2 that go down, 1 for each team inside a middle map, so we once again find ourselves in a 2v2 within the first seconds of a round of search and destroy, and that's just bad timing. Pyros once again getting the fortune.
It's just Tubb is just so disconnected from this 2 versus 2. You leave Bob on his own, and Pyros is going to punish that. A player that wasn't really a worry back in map number 1, even with that win. And the Bisons, they are going to punish the weak link in that 1 versus 2. They show no respect to Tubb, and they run him down there 4-1 for Nichols College. They're playing this so well. As soon as it's like they smell the blood in the water there onto Bob, I love the confidence there from Pyros, because you were even saying he's the guy in map 1 that was trying to make the plays, trying to pull those spawns. He was just losing those fights. This time he's showing the same confidence, but he's doing it with a little bit more backup in the S&D, and he is so impactful in these big moments there, or even the little moments for Pyros. Is 3-2. He's got his 2 in a row. Bison's feeling good.
I mean, you're up 3-1, but I mean, think about how good that gunfight's going to feel when you take that inside a ring and you win that, knowing that you are going to be able to fry these guys on the opposite side. I mean, that's just a confidence boost that you don't get necessarily at the back end of a P1, where you're really not doing all that great, but a great nade comes over the top. Tubb the first one to fall here in the round off the back end of Drafty. And now you look for the entire full wrap from the opposite side. What is with RIT and always having to take the deep route? I feel like this is the bane of their existence in S&D, because they just flip the map constantly on themselves and don't chow from anywhere else. Hey, at least they'll respect it. It's all together.
Whether it's attack or defense, always fighting for the other side. Drafty on the top ring. Good for first kill. 2v4 retake. Crowd going to be read through pillars. It is systematic. And the setup from the Bisons. You know, Bob's going to be in the window. You're giving him nothing. Shots to the wall. Everything that you could ask for there for Bob. To not get a kill, 16 seconds. He's got to find 3 kills. He hasn't even been able to get a solid gunfight.
I know Nichols wanted to win that round, right? And you're just throwing shoulders. You're not giving any free 1Vs, but I mean, credit where credit is due. Bob for staying alive that long. Out through middle map. Get the player pushing. And on the ring, Drafty will finally make it pay. But this is... brutally honest, I did not necessarily expect it to be a 5-1. I expected Nichols College to kind of be in a spot where they were looking really good going into an S&D, just based on how they've played throughout the entire season and some of the teams that they've taken the distance. I just think RIT are just overthinking every step of the way as we go forward.
Yeah. No, I mean, even still, you're kind of watching the plays that they're making in the last round, and we criticized that full flank. You're just giving up too much of this map. And even on this play to B, you got trophies down, but... no play through mid, full steam ahead. Bob's just going to run it down, and Tubb's got the shot. So you get that first blood. Now see if you can get this plant down and work numbers. Start somewhat of a comeback.
That's the call you wanted beforehand.
Yeah.
Actually commit to the bomb site. Don't just show face and then just lose gunfights as they come forward.
Well, this time they have trophies.
I guess that's something. Drafty in the money window, though. Doesn't know that anybody's out by Tiki. He knows that one slid across the left side, so whoever's back basketball and Pyros... you should have the communication given out, but I mean, with 25 seconds left, you just got to start taking a gunfight here. You have no info on the other team. Drafty's in a bad spot. Somehow down the staircase, though, Pyro is able to find one. Bob there, trade ready as well. Final life now goes to Condi, and he'll just have to fly out towards the pool. There's nothing you can really do in that situation. It's a great post plant after the first blood. RIT finally win another round, still down 4, though.
Yeah, I'll give Raid its flaws. You know, I've been watching this thing since Black Ops 2, and there's... not many things that you can show me that will surprise me now on this map.
Yeah.
But the one thing that Raid does have is 2 bomb sites that are very easy to post plant. And in a situation like that, you get the bomb down quick. If you're RIT, you're just showing the fundamentals of Raid. I want to see more of that. You go into the defense, though, and this is the one side that you haven't won a round on yet. So let's see if they can stop giving up these bomb plants so early and start fighting for some map control.
Drafty said, you know what? I'm tired of it. I don't want to get gunned by an AR anymore. I want to go straight in through kitchen. Bob's going to see and spot him out, though. And if you want to push this through kitchen, hey, all the power to you. But you still got to worry about another flank coming around from Faded Crown. And now you're just stuck inside a P1, rather P5. Just sitting ducks, waiting for everybody to chow back. And once again, what is RIT doing? Wrapping all the way through their spawn. At least they're playing together.
Yeah, and you know, at least it's just one player making that wrap, not all 3 players making that wrap this time. Ready goes 1 for 1, still a 2v2, 50 seconds. You've given up A. you're hand in hand, just retaking through P5. See if you can stop these bombs from going down. See if you can just hold somewhat of a map control to start your retake quicker than you have been before. And you see that the Bisons are doing everything that they need to do to use this clock and cross their T's, dot their I's, make sure that no stone is unturned.
Are they going to try and bait him out, or are they just going to run here? It looks like they're just going to run over to B. There's one on it, though. You have to look for Tub. Bob out through middle. He's going to get bad timing. Oh, inside of money. Does he get spotted out? Gunfight goes to one. Now it's Bob last alive. Excuse me. Tub on the opposite side of the map. He's able to find one. 13 seconds left. Going to wisely back up. Shots are good. They stay alive in the S&D.
Oh, man. You know, I sat there for so long, Alex, throughout this game, and I just thought, man, I feel bad for Tub. Because he had a really tough go at that map number 1, even with the win. You go into map 2, and he was like 1-4 at one point, and I'm like, he really just continues to get punished by the Bisons. Oh, Tub, fire me up right there. Good double kill to close out that game. You stop the bomb carrier. Bisons use too much of that time. They overthink it, and they, you know, they're doing backflips when they really just need to walk forward onto A and plant that bomb. Tub's going to punish you there. He's got 4 in a row. Tub's turning up for RIT, so let's see if everybody else can turn up too.
Long range shots. How about it? Up through laundry. Oh, if that wall bang would have hit, that would have been disgusting stuff. Reeds on a track, won't be able to find anything early on here in the round, but you got a nade inside of laundry. That's going to force them out, and now this should allow the bomb to potentially go down. You see, I said that while I was looking at the screen. I didn't realize Reddy was the one with the bomb, and somehow is able to find Drafty. Now Faded Crown gets another. Okay, we're in business. We're talking again.
Well, this is the one time that Andy Proper Neckridge will say, we got to go deeper. And into the deep ends of laundry. 3 dead for the Bisons. Last alive is going to be Drafty, and he's hitting the full flank through B. And he's going to be spotted into the kitchen. Now they know exactly where he is.
Can we plant the bomb? This feels like Octane trying to talk on the backside of Karachi Control. Go B. This time it's go A. And you finally get it down. And you line up. This is why you plant the bomb. You know what, Drafty? I agree with you. Shoot the bodies. What are we doing? What are we doing? Plant the bomb. It's S&D. We're not playing TDM. Oh, my God.
We're doing backflips. We're doing backflips. It's a little too much in the search and destroy. Mistakes being made, and Bison's answer back. Let's look at this raid recap. As Nichols College Bisons, they came out strong with those first 2 rounds. Really dominant in those first bloods for at least the first 6 that we saw. RIT, couple struggles across the search and destroy. Really, it came down to the kind of confidence in a lot of the space that they were taking. So many flank routes, looking for timings, looking for any kind of checkout plays that the Bisons just were not giving to you across the search and destroy. We could see why S&D is definitely a focus point here for the Bisons in their entire season for CCL for a couple of these wins that they do have. It's because you got raid in your pocket. This is something I think Nichols College can always keep as a tool for the CCL.
Look at the stats, John, if you could. If you'd be so kind, let's throw the stats up real quick and just take a look.
Get the stats.
At what we saw in this search and destroy here. 15-5 from Drafty. That was what I was looking at the end of the game. I know that I lost it a little bit. I'm sorry. I apologize. But 15-5 from Drafty is a banging of a map. 2,300 damage in total throughout that S&D. Plenty of wall bangs to go along with it. Plenty of weak players that were there. But 12 of those being non-traded is just something that cannot happen in the search and destroy. You look to RIT. Plenty of flaws. Very glaring throughout the entirety of that. Too many backtracks on the wraps through spawn, giving up a lot of map pressure. Not getting information on the wrap back either, and just allowing the map kind of to flow through for Nichols College. There's a lot of stuff that I feel like RIT needs to clean up. After a great opening hardpoint, it just feels weird to see them fall apart like that in map 2.
You just kind of think about like the simple word efficiency when you're playing Call of Duty, and you know, in hardpoint, the efficiency always comes down to like how are you holding these spawns quickly and getting towards that hill time. You're centering your kills around the objective, and for search and destroy, that efficiency comes down to these wraps that RIT were trying to make, and a lot of it was just wasted time. And for the Bisons, yeah, they were kind of matching you in that sometimes, but they were streamlined at the start of this game. There's just so many plays that Nichols College were making that it's just the quick, efficient routes on raid that you like to see. And RIT, I've said it so many times already, Alex, in this post-claim, they're just doing too much. Bob's getting red. I said that he's a guy who you need to look at to shut down in this map. He was constantly caught in these flanks, not really able to, you know, fight for these one-on-ones, fight for these opening first bloods. He doesn't get a single one where you expect him to turn up for RIT Orange. And Ready, Faded Crown, I mean, although they're trying to make these plays, it was mostly just one-for-one checkout plays that Nichols were just brushing off their shoulders.
There's not a lot of opportunities to get the subs moving on that raid. Albeit the ARs, they didn't play bad for RIT. It's just they weren't creating lanes. Drafty was frying across the board. Bob, Tub, Ready, or Faded tried to chow out on an angle. Drafty was pretty much cutting them down at will. Didn't matter if it was the A side, the B side, or middle map. Especially if you're trying to just sprint through, get P5 control, and then play out to the A or B side from middle map. I mean, it just feels impossible. But take a look at our best of 5 series real quick. We will find ourselves going next to this overload on Den. Will we see RIT committing to team pushes like we saw in map 1, or will we see a lot of overextending back through the spawns and giving free positioning away to the other team? Well, that's the question on my mind, Colin Moore.
Well, we get a map 4. I'm excited to see that Scar hardpoint when we do get there, Alex. I think that for that Colossus map number 1, I don't think for Nichols College they were really ready for the pace that the RIT were setting. So the fact that we get to see them on a different hardpoint is something that I'm kind of really interested in what they bring there. For this Den Overload, I mean, we saw this in our last series, and realistically, the big takeaway from it was how many chances were kind of blundered because of the spawn manipulation that you don't always see from teams on this map. I mean, we were giving you your praise, because if there's anybody that can read an overload here from the casting desk, it's Alex McCormill, because this guy just knows how this game mode plays. Somehow, I don't know, Alex, how you can read this. It's so good. But you get to a Den, and I'm looking at this for both teams, and who's going to be that team to really manipulate those spawns to understand where the overload also spawns once the cap comes through, because that's where a lot of mistakes come from when you're playing Den Overload. Is you got to make sure that if you are going to be holding that dojo side, by the time the 2 caps are made, you got to make sure somebody's going to be on that rooftop to deny the counter cap, because so many teams have mistakes like that through this game mode.
Clear the way. 2 players from RIT out by P3 side. They're going to win the opening duel. Now, this is going to give them a lot of presence, especially if they want to push out to tower side. A flank is absolutely in the cards early on, but the same could be said for Nichols on the opposite end. Condi's able to push up into computers. So now the map is really flipped out.
Yeah.
If you're Faded Crown, you should have a read that somebody's in the spawn here. You're going to run in with the knife. Tub is going to be the second victim in this fight. And now you have a lead blocker all the way out over by B. You can run this through computers. You might be able to get this here. It's going to be close and steady. Backs off, throws a nade, and is waiting for reinforcements to get there. Not sure if this is going to be something that works out for Nichols College, but interested to see what the hold looks like from RIT.
Might be if Drafty just gave it a few more seconds, but he tweaks at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Still some work to be done here from the Bisons. Pyros inside computers, only good for the 1. Looks like the Tiger is going to hold strong through that defensive stance. They're going to grab that overload device, wrap it over to Dojo. Ready? Can he get some kills through couches? He finds 1. Nobody else in a lead blocking position, so the Bisons will have a solid setup on this B side.
And you have to look for Drafty because he's lost inside of your spawn. You don't account for the last player alive.
Oh, he notes it.
And now nobody's looking back. He's got Faded directly in front of him, turns back around to 10. Ready still on the heady, finding not 1, but actually 2 kills here on the P3 site. But hey, what I'll say, Colin, is I know I gave RIT a lot of crap for rotating through their spawn inside the search and destroy. Getting this out back over to the P3 side and not trying to take that up through P2 is something that I will rave about every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, just the better side just in general from where you're playing at in these dojo spawns. But now RIT have a chance to get that first capture in, and they have the dojo side. So full setup now for RIT to get 2 quick caps on. You're fighting out of your spawn now for the Bisons to see if you can defend this. You do have a player inside tower. You just have to worry about Tub popping up at the worst times, and it won't even come down to that.
Good shots from Sundown. It's exactly as you say, Colin. Tub gets there. Drafty's still pushed out, but you got to take care of Tub. And I know that you're trusting your teammates in your spawn, and they'll finally go ahead and commit on the kill. But But now it's all about pushing in through Dojo. You get the stun check over the top. You think you're not ready for the gunfight. You gun one to the ground, and now you're looking a little deeper back. You've still got a player out on side of P3, and it looks like we'll be saying hi.
Hey.
I told you, Colin, I'm a curse. You guys had no problems through the entirety of map, or the entirety of the first series. We get into map 1 of the Colossus. The lobby restarts 3 times. Here in the overload, I was waiting for something to happen. I looked away, looked back, game was frozen.
I was like hoping for a second that it would like start back up right away. But no, I'm sure we'll get back into it in no time, whether it's an observer crash or like a full player crash. No idea right now. Sounds like it's going to be an observer crash, so hopefully our observers can get back into that one as quick as possible. You got to tip it to Drafty for the plays that he's making, because he's quite literally playing chess right now in a game of checkers. A lot of teams in the CCL for Overload really cannot comprehend how this game mode plays. But the play that he makes through mid on that dojo push, where RIT could have easily had back-to-back captures, he uses his voice as a weapon. He makes sure that he notes Tub on the flank. He allows his teammates to go for that play, kills the carrier. Although RIT still get the capture through that, he makes the full overextension back in towards that half wall. He gets into dojo, and he just continues to keep that overload device at bay, allowing his teammates to start to clear out their spawn. I mean, Drafty right now is playing some great Call of Duty for Nichols College. It's the reason why they're still in this series.
Oh, it absolutely is. And to your point of being able to be that lead blocker, get out and kind of aggress the issue, it was something that I was pointing to when he was over on P3 side. Instead of wrapping all the way back to help Tub out in the spawn, he said, hey, I know I'm going to trust my teammates here to find Tub real quick. I'm going to keep pushed up on P3. We don't necessarily need the mid-map control right now. If I can get pushed up dojo, maybe win a gunfight or two while the other team of RIT is still trying to hit through P3 because they have Tub in the back spawn and they're just trying to disrupt our setup, I could probably just shoot one in the back, because they're lost right now. They don't know if he's pushed up in the spawn side. They don't know if he's P3. It's all about, it's like a Black Ops 6 when you're playing Skyline. Get one, get out. Get one, get out. Keep picking them off. Allow your team to come off spawn. And if Tub dies, hey, guess what? Nichols College have a 3-stack ready to fly over towards the EMP and then deliver the drone to the site. That's it.
I don't know why you had to make me think about Skyline for a second there, Alex. It's a map I don't want to think about. And they were even saying that it might come back for BO7 too.
Huh?
Yeah, I was seeing something saying Skyline might come back at some point. We
already have Colossus and Blackheart.
Look,
we don't need another small
map. Don't shoot
map.
the messenger.
I'm not going to. I love you. All right, bro. We're going to do a quick break. When we get back, we got map, I believe map 4 are going to be underway because we did have an observer crash. We'll let you know what happens on the other side of a break. We'll see you in a bit.
I can't lie.
Well, if you didn't see the spoilers inside of the chat, it was an 8-2 overload victory on Den for Nichols College. So RIT down 1-2 after a blazing hardpoint start in map 1. Are they Colossus merchants? Find out here in map 4.
That's what we're wondering. We get into a situation where Bisons are hot off of 2 map wins in a row. You get to that Den overload, and from what I understand is that they were slamming, and even Drafty was getting loud in the facility. Pyro's getting a little loud too. I'd love to hear the passion coming up from Nichols College. It's just, you go to now the hard point where you don't have to really worry about a submachine gun constantly flanking you like Colossus, and I need to see RIT really step up like they did in that Colossus in terms of dominating these rotations.
Well, Fade, instead of an SMG, is going to have the AR out here on Scar. Unfortunately, he turns the corner, runs into one, but he's got teammates helping over the top side of red. Tub down low will aggress one more. And that should be the backside of green spawns here for RIT. So everything's going to be in front of them outside blue now. First one over the hop on the satellite, one up to top green. Pyro needs to be the first one to take the gunfight here as Tub is on 3 in a row.
Tub doing Tub things now, soaking up that time.
Oh.
Just not ready for the flank as anybody from RIT, and not going to watch market. Going to allow for a couple members of the Bisons to slip on through. They can task for a second, back and forth trades for Bisons, and Pyro's trying to play through market to at least give a little bit of a foot to stand on. They're going to be in, still lots of time, and Pyro's just constantly trying to find an angle on these players contesting.
Good shots in from Condi. Stun check back out towards middle. Faded Crown. Good shots up towards top blue. Will pull the SMG back out. He's like, you know what? I might not be an AR. Over towards Jenny, though. Still one inside. Top red over by the Moose mural. Gonna back all the way off, and it's great timing from Faded Crown as they thought he'd backed all the way off. It's an over-aggression onto the top side of Red, but it won't matter. Pyro's wrapping all the way through the spawn side. It's a good setup early here over by P3. No one will grab the initial time. They should be able to get a couple of entry kills.
Should be. We can see it too for a RIT. A lot of focus from Righty towards green, but it's a late hit from Pyros on this flank, and Righty is in a great spot if he could just hold his own. Gives himself away, and he's not going to be able to get anything on the inside. It's going to be Faded Crown locking down the time. Tub over the plane wing. Can he help out? Faded now all alone, and the Bisons break down the setup within the first 30 seconds.
That's just things that can't happen. But you're ready for a bounce back if you're RIT. Bob up through mid-cut. Second one on a gunfight. Little wall bounce for good measure. We'll go ahead and hit him with a headshot, and that's 2 down. That's back to the P3 side. You're looking for one more deep if you're spawning back by blue. You got everything you want in the setup back on P4, so a money hill is definitely within your sights. You don't want to push out too far, though. Inside of market, one will fall. You got player 4 still here, and that's the flip out that I was worried about.
Yeah, Bob. Trying to play for these back spawns. Immediately going to be checked out by the Bisons. 3-4 dead in the feed. Initial time to Nichols College. It's going to be P2 spawns coming in through the Tigers. Can they fight their way through? They need a break soon. Bob up and over. 7 HP still alive. The spawn up in the back for the Bisons. And they just have not been able to sniff themselves anywhere into this point.
It just feels like if it's not Colossus and the spawns aren't to where you have just one definitive point all the way in the back and you know that you're hard blocking, it's just impossible for RIT to really get a read on it. People are making routes, but you have the spawn on white wall, and with 15 seconds left, you're pushing into market while everybody else is dying on the wrap back from the right side. I get you want to push out, but sometimes you just gotta sit, play for the baits and trades on one another. You're losing crucial time after giving up the back end of time and getting broken down immediately. It's just things that they have to work on if they're going to be a competitive season or team going into the rest of the season, specifically the regional playoffs.
Yeah, and you know, we're giving them so much gas after that Colossus, and we can start to see why. You know, maybe they've fallen a little bit short in a couple of these series. Crafty's going to be in a good spot, not able to get through Ready. Ready diving right into the hill. He's going to force these players away. Contest back in for Sundown. Ready. Can he hold on? Fight between both sides. It's going to be prolonged, and it's enough time for the rest of Nichols College to get into the plane wing, and a Kobe over the top for Drafty. He gets 2. RIT can't catch a break.
As soon as you think the coast is clear, you got to look down at your feet.
Yep.
Little pop nade, but at least they'll hold on. So 20 seconds. This is actually quite a bit of time here for RIT, given the position that they're in. You look through mid-cut. Nothing spotted out market yet. Ready knows there's going to be a challenge coming from the right-hand side and just gets the worst timing known to mankind. 2 players now pushing in through market, trying to wrap through 18. They've got 1 spotted out. Tub surely should win that gunfight against the sub, and absolutely will. And they are without an elo sight on it. But regardless, Tub's going to make it stick. He's 9 and 15. He's got to turn this one around. They need him frying on this map.
Yeah. Tub in that map number 1. He didn't really have to do too much because of the performance that Bob was putting up. Now that Bob hasn't been able to pop off like that Colossus, it's definitely where you need to see all 4 players working in tandem. Nichols College going to hop this P1. Bob going to take a route through blue. Good for the first one. Bob's going to get 2. Here comes the contest. Can they get their way in? 3 dead, make it 4. And RIT in for 25 seconds. It's going to put them over the 100-point marker and closer to a tie game.
You've got to read that deep right spawn on blue, though. If you are RIT, you've got one backing all the way back by red. He's blocking spawns.
What?
And then you just have everybody else run straight through the front. Yeah, that's great. You've gotten P1 control, but you allowed Nichols College to come off a spawn and immediately get all of P2 all for themselves.
Are you ready? Trophy at his feet. Doesn't have to worry about those frags. Everybody's going to be set up here for the Tigers, and you don't have mid-map control, but off the spawn, you imagine Bob's going to get there. Reddy's going to lose some teammates. Immediately takes the chow ripped off the Jennies. Bison's literally giving nothing to RIT at all.
Cheeky. Little challenge up top by Sundown and Bob. Both will throw shoulders back and forth, but there is a Hellstorm in the cards for Nichols College should they need it. 40-point advantage halfway through the hard point here. We look back towards middle map and where RIT is going to go off the spawns. Do they want to give one more hit at this, or are they going to try and sit up for P3? It's been a lot of rotating out with 20 to 25 seconds left and not a lot of holding.
There's been so many opportunities where if RIT could just win their rotations and then follow up with the second wave, it's just you're losing some critical gunfights in these setups. Yep. I mean, this could easily be an RIT tie game after that P2 setup that they did have. It's just Nichols are shooting a little bit straighter in these moments. Tub takes a little bit to clean up that kill, but it is going to be an initial time at P3 for the Tigers.
Here we go. Good reads. You've got the entire side of boat now pushed out over by blue. You should see that second player spawn.
Oh, no.
But it's all going to come down to Drafty on the flank. He's up in top green. He's able to find one on top. Trade out. Should have been there. Drafty gets out of top green. Has to look for Faded Crown, and they'll finally win the gunfights. But now it's the Hellstorm that comes over the top while players are still in. It's 3 for Drafty yet again. Shades of what we saw inside of map 2 and the overload. Bob now back on the point, trying to scraggle for whatever he can. 55-point deficit here for RIT. Hellstorm invested. Nichols on top.
20 seconds. Tub's got to win this fight. And if he can, that would have been some good scrap time. You're fortunate enough if you're RIT that Hellstorm comes out now and not at that P5 when it truly could have called game, Alex. So you get a break at this P4. A tough hill for the Bisons to break back into it. I think if RIT can find their way in here, this could be the turning point. It is just cracking this back spawn.
Nichols was very, very close to making the same costly mistake that RIT made and losing the spawns on the back end of P4, and they might just do it here. Condi up the staircase, doesn't realize a Faded Crown is there. It's only one left alive. It's Drafty inside of P4 who will fall. Now it's the gunfights back out front. It's ready. Guns one on the white van. Looks back to the right-hand side. And those two are going to be chelling over from white wall. Good wall banging shots in. Damage has been done here to the initial push from Nichols College, but you got to keep winning these gunfights. It's Faded Crown with 2. All 4 down, almost.
This is where we talk about that this lead is not safe on a Scar. I mean, Drafty's going to give it one more look, but spawns in the back for the Tigers. They're going to be able to reinforce this hill and see if they can get all the rest of it. Klondy has to back up. No way you can give it up. Those spawns to P5. But this is exactly what I was talking about. You're going into a P5 now, and if you can now break this spawn, you've used that Hellstorm. You don't have that tool to break this again, so you gotta be worried now if you're the Bisons.
All the way back line. Sundown will hop onto P5 to help out the rest of the team. North side control fully in the Bison control. Ready up through mid-cut. We'll lay down and wait for the rest of the teammates to come up spawn. It's going to be a triple hit through middle. Bob all the way back. That's just bad timing. But now it's a pistol challenge. Back around to the right side. Condi, can you go for number 3? Why not? You got one more deep back, but it's going to be a close spawn. 2 players now pushing through the backs of the P5. Condi on another flank opportunity. You look for these players here. It's everybody dead from RIT. Back to mid-cut you look.
Such a good read from Condi, working with Pyros to dominate the middle of the map. 20 seconds is going to put this game seemingly so far away from RIT Esports, and they're trying to get in for the contest. Fight this from the front. Contest after contest. 3 come through between Faded Crown and Bob. Just one more to clean up. You get it. Back spawns in. Rotation to P1. The Tigers are not done yet.
Full mid control, and they're trying their best to win the gunfights on the back end, but as soon as I say that, everybody inside of the middle of the map is fallen for RIT. Now Faded Crown doesn't realize the player up top green is going to get the best timing on him. Through market, you're going to have to try and push a couple, but Pyros is already pushed out. 20 seconds here for Nichols.
Setups in, contests. Pyros waiting his time. The timing is just so bad. He gets flanked out. The blue spawns for the Bisons, down by 40. RIT still have so much leg in this race. They just need to hold their ground, Alex.
200-point mark now across for RIT. Tub knows one's up through mid-cut. Trade immediately from the backside of green, but is in middle map where the Bison have gotten themselves a bit of a hold on P1. Still inside of market was Bob, but as he falls to drafting, now the map is going to get pushed out. Congestion in. Condi wants the rest of the teammates to stay down. Ready there. Now it's everybody through the middle of the cut. Faded Crown there. Bob pushing forward. One player left alive in the middle. Now it's the race over to P2.
And it's a deep spawn in blue for the Bison, so RIT here first. AR set up, power positions locked in. The Tigers down by 20 now. This is so winnable for RIT.
Oh, you had the player inside of mid-cut fall, and Condi's able to win one. Top red. Bob, the next one up for the challenge. It's good trades in from RIT, but the spawns are so far away. 14 seconds for the win for the Bison.
You gotta make this flank for your Bob. There's no time to waste. 10 seconds left. He's gotta go.
Oh no! I thought for a moment Bob lost the gunfight, but it's all good. It's the flank that comes in, but with 5 seconds left, there's nobody there for the touch. They've got to try and sprint their way forward. Nichols, after losing map 1, stun 3 straight. Rip it out of RIT's hands, and we'll take the series to improve to 8-2.
A moment there for the Tigers. A round of applause for the comeback they made. But a little bit too late when we see that flash in the pan. P2 just never went the way of RIT. Every single time we go to that hill, and we're going to see it in the game flow too. They get the initial time on those P2s, Alex. They get immediately broken over and over again, and those assault rifle players on the Tigers, they just couldn't do enough to keep the Bisons at bay. Just look at that flow, start to finish for Nichols College. It is pure flow state for the Bisons. And although, you know, there's a little bit of a comeback on that P4 setup, we saw RIT, they had their moment to bring it back by 10 all the way into that second set of hills. It's the P5 and then the P2 again that just continues to break their back. They can't get those spawns at P5. You move to P2, you get instantly broken on that setup, and that's where the Bisons just continue to knock you down.
And I hate to pin it all on one moment, but it was the second that the player inside of Market fell on that hold of P2 that everything started to fall apart. You had the players pushing top side of red. Somebody had to kind of scramble to pick up middle map because you weren't sure if that hit was coming through immediately or not. But what it came down to was just losing the gunfights directly at the front of the hill. The second set of rotations that we had inside of the map, it was everybody trying to play for P1. They let the spawns flip out. They sent no pressure over to the backside of blue. Nobody was ready for the 4-man hit that Nichols was going to throw at them. And it happens twice in a row, albeit it's about 10 seconds later for the Bison when they break on in. But my God, what a series that was. RIT, I mean, pat yourselves on the back, but for the Bison, you live to fight another day. The conference championship still mathematically possible.
Yeah, I mean, the Bisons are having themselves a go here in the Northeast Atlantic. When we look at Hugh was really making these plays, and if you're going to give an MVP to anybody, you cannot look past Drafty for what he did in these last 3 maps. 39 and 29, 27 non-traded, over 4,200 damage. It's just him, Sundown, and Condi putting up the damage for the team here. So much coming out of the Bisons on that Scar. But it's not even this map number 4 for Drafty. It's just looking at the plays he was making on that overload. And you knew that even when we were out of that map number 3, Alex, he was still making plays for them to have such a dominant win on that Den. 15 and 5 in that Search and Destroy. It was a Drafty series.
Not much more you want if you're a Bison fan. You might have liked to play the Colossus a little bit closer, all things, you know. But I think for the most part, when you look at RIT, their bread and butter was Colossus coming into this. And I think the reason is, and I'll still stick to my guns on this, I think it's because for them, the spawns are very easily readable. I think for when you look at this Tigers roster, what do they do inside of that map 1? They were the ones taking the routes. They were pushing deep into the spawns, knowing that they had the blocks. And I just think the lack of understanding on the Scar as a team collective to not only know where you're affecting the spawns at, but where the blocks effectively are, I think that was the biggest difference, especially at the beginning of the Scar when they were just kind of getting ran through. There was a lot of gunfights that they should have won. There was a lot of moments where the team pushes just kind of felt miscoordinated. And as I look for what they can do to improve the rest of the season, really it just comes down to making sure that they fully understand the spawn logic, how that affects the map, how that's going to not only affect your next gunfight, but what lane needs to then be picked up, because there was plenty of times where the arrows on the mini-maps weren't looking exactly where they needed to be. And obviously that's easy for me to be armchair here and say that while looking at the mini-map, but for a team that's as well practiced as RIT, I feel like that's something that I want them to be able to expand upon going into the regional playoffs.
Hey, it's just like,
I know they can.
You know, we're mini-map reapers like the flank. We love to nitpick all the little things these teams do wrong, but for RIT, I will give them some commiserations towards that comeback that they almost made on that Scar hardpoint. Almost had a chance to go to that Colossus Search and Destroy. Maybe, just maybe, show us that they truly are Colossus Reapers. I would have loved to see that Game 5 come through, but hats off to the Bisons. 6-3 on Raid Search and Destroy, 8-2, Den Overload Masterclass, and Scar Hardpoint that really just seemed like it was their map to win from start to finish. It was a really strong 3 maps there in a row from the Bisons, and I think if you're looking towards a team in the postseason again for the Northeast Atlantic, this is another squad that just puts its hat into the ring on potential contenders contenders. And the one thing I look at them to do is contend against teams like your Farmingdale State Rams, a team that, you know, now Nichols College needs to look at how can they improve to try to avoid an 0-3 match against the Rams if they do meet them in the postseason, because it was something in the regular season that they did lose to. They lost to Fisher and they've lost to Farmingdale State, Alex, both of them in 0-3 losses. So it's improvement from now on that we need to see from the Bisons.
If you weren't here earlier during our first best of 5 series and you're wondering about what the rest of the season for the CCL is going to look like, we have the continuation of this week of matches into tomorrow night's broadcast. Off stream, plenty of matches will be playing throughout the rest of the league. Next week, we will not have ourselves, I believe, a main broadcast. We will be having our makeup week for any teams that need to have any reschedules going towards what will then be regional playoffs coming up very soon. Colin, I know you are excited about regional playoffs. I'm excited about regional playoffs. But before we get to regional playoffs, of course, conference championships, and that will be where we will see who not only takes their division, but goes into that beautiful regional playoffs with the #1 seed. Pretty sexy, pretty special.
It is really exciting. I think that everybody always looks forward to the playoffs in college COD. I think that the introduction to conference finals just gives you a little bit more to look forward to when it comes to these divisions, because you know, it used to be one thing to see, you know, divisions just going up into the playoffs, then you go through the bracket and you kind of lose a couple of those teams inside the playoffs that we don't really truly get to see their stories unfold in those early rounds. Now with the conference finals, it puts a little bit more of a focus towards these teams to win their divisions and be a champion before the playoffs. And for schools, I think just like it's a part of the culture in schools to have those conference finals. I think that, you know, obviously the schools themselves love to see it. The players love to play for them. It's just that extra thing to give that competitive edge in these matchups. And I think that everybody should be looking forward to the conference finals coming up soon.
Absolutely. Well, we will say GG to the Bison. RIT, they fought, they tried, but they fall 1-3. They will move down to 5-5 with inside the Northeast Atlantic. When we come back from break, Cincinnati COD, Iowa State Esports doing battle in the Midwest Metro Top Cut. Who will come out on top of that best of 5 series? We'll find out after a break.